Now we have types of samples. So there are two types of samples. We have unbiased and we have biased. So an unbiased sample is a representative of the population selected at random and is large enough to provide accurate data. A biased sample is not representative of the population. One or more parts of the population are favored over others. So an unbiased sample is what we want. We want it to be unbiased. So maybe put a star next to it, circle it, highlight it, put a little cloud. This is what we want. If it's unbiased, that means that it represents the population as a whole. So our random sample, when we selected them, we didn't have any knowledge about them. We didn't know anything about them. We didn't try to persuade them. It's unbiased. A biased sample means that you are trying to persuade, or you picked people that you knew would lean a certain way to help your data look a certain way. So let's identify an unbiased sample. So you want to estimate the number of students in a high school who ride a bus to school. Which sample is unbiased? So we have 4 students in the hallway, all students on the soccer team, 50 12th grade students at random, 20 random students from each lunch period. So there's like 120 students total. So it's not 4 students in the hallway, and that's because typically when you're in the hallway, talking to your friends, whatever it might be, typically your friends or 4 people together all have something in common. I know at Park Hill South, their hallways are kind of divided by lockers. So you have the freshman hallway, you have the sophomore hallway, junior, and senior. So if you pick 4 students randomly in the hallway, but you're standing in the freshman hallway, typically freshmen would ride the bus because they don't have a license, they can't drive. So it would be bias. You know what hallway you're going into before you collect the data. B, all students on the soccer team. This one is also biased, so we don't want that one either, because if they're on the soccer team, maybe they all have morning practice, so they all carpool. Or maybe they don't ride the bus because they have practice after school or games after school, so they don't ride the bus. And so your data wouldn't be accurate because you're asking only athletes. C, 50 12th grade students at random. While they're at random, and we like that part, it's still all 12th grade. And 12th graders, by 12th grade, you are about 17 or 18 years old, which means that you typically have your license, so you have a car or you have friends that can drive. And so this one is not what we want either, because it's all 12th grade. It doesn't represent the whole school. So the best answer is D, 20 random students from each lunch period, because then you have a better chance of asking a broad variety of students. You could have within each lunch period some freshmen, some sophomores, some juniors, some seniors, and therefore you get a better variety of students and you aren't leaning your data a specific way. So I kind of just answered this one, so I guess we're going to skip it. So now I want you to try on your own, and then when you're done, you'll check your answers with mine. So go ahead and pause this video. So you want to estimate the number of 8th graders in your school who find it relaxing to listen to music. So we're looking at 8th graders, and we need to consider these 2 samples. So we want to see which one's better and which one is not biased. So remember, we want it to be unbiased. So option 1, we have 15 randomly selected members of the band. Or we have option 2, which is every 5th student whose name appears in alphabetical order on the list of 8th graders. So the first one is not what we want, because typically if you're in band, you like music, which would mean that you would like to listen to music. And then therefore, we would assume that most of the people in band would find listening to music relaxing. So it is not going to be option 1. It's going to be option 2. And that's because we don't know the order of everybody in 8th grade as a list from alphabetical, in alphabetical order. We don't know every single person. And so if we just pick every 5th, that's random. And so we randomly selected it without actually, it should say random sample, sorry. We picked them at random, and so therefore it's a random group. We don't know anything about those students. We don't know any background knowledge, and therefore it is unbiased.